Zoom can see it too, I think. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. Cool, all right. Well, all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 8th Milledgeville Rotary meeting. Please silence your cell phones. As our Rotarian of the day, Brett Montroy leads us in the prayer, pledge, and four-way test.
Join me in prayer, please. Almighty God, thank you for this day. Thank you for Rotary. Thank you for summertime as we enter all that it entails from vacations, kids camps, travel. Be with us and keep us safe. Now bless the foods and the nourishment of our bodies and guide our bodies to thy service. Amen. Amen. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, the truth. Second, third, and fourth. And fifth.
Thank you, Brett. As you sit down, remember the CART fund, the blue buckets for Alzheimer's research. You know that they collect all this money and they give out grants to different institutions to do Alzheimer's research. So please put something in the blue buckets. Prayer requests. William, any prayer requests?
I don't.
Anybody else have a prayer request? How about community announcements? Any announcements? Okay. Greg, you ready?
I'm ready. Okay, we've got some guests today. Tamara, would you like to introduce your guest?
And she has worked with us for a year and a half now as a student intern and recently been promoted to a staff management position. So we want to have her here in the Logan family for everyone. So we're visiting today.
Okay, Brett, you got a guest? I do. I would be Luke Jackson of Tampa, Florida. He's actually in legal office for Gordon College this summer. He's arrived at 2L at First Law School. He's a graduate of the University of Florida. And finally, Jared, you've got a guest?
Okay, I have Christopher Macken. It's not really new.
We all know Christopher.
I'm good with it.
Well, welcome. Welcome to you all. Okay. Tom? Okay, the winning number ends in 836. 836. We got that. Okay. Sir. That's not it. Here you go.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, on your tables, everybody should have a ballot to vote for Rotarian of the Year.
Yes, basically what he said is time to vote for Rotarian of the Year. So, for following suggestion, I printed out all of the rosters of the members. So what do you think? Vote 1, 2, 3, or so pick your top 3, 1, 2, 3, and
Right.
do you want rank? To be ranked or just pick? Yeah, pick 3, and the person with the most votes will win. And while I'm talking about that, I'm who knows it's our 85th year. Okay. Half the room, okay. So who knows that we're having an 85th year celebration? Good. So on Thursday, June 29th, the last Thursday of the month, the fifth Thursday, you know, we always do a social. It'll also be the last Thursday of this Rotary year. So we're having a social, we're having a nice dinner. You were together and invited. We have district governors coming, we're inviting past president, so any of you know a past president that you can help us get in touch with, or you can hand deliver their invite, or you know their address, please see me after, because I have extras, but we want to invite all the past presidents that we can. Past board members, if we have board members who were instrumental in the club, and it's at Tingley Southern Barn. There'll be a presentation by District Governor Heather Kelly. She just went to Australia to the international conference, so she should have a lot of inspirational things to tell us. And then, Tingley Southern Barn, just so everybody knows, it has a flat surface, so you will not have to walk very far. So it's, you can park right next to the building, walk in, so if you're worried about, you know, walking, you don't have to worry about that. It's probably a shorter walk than walking into the club here. And I hope that see everybody there. So who's coming? 5:30, 7:30. Yeah, so just come and email me, let me know if you're gonna get some coming. And you can, you know, when you want to take the invite to, let me know that as well.
Thank you, Aaron. All right, Tamara, you ready?
You say email me.
Okay, and then speaking of meetings, next week's meeting is going to be at the Flannery O'Connor Interpretive Center. We'll have lunch in a regular meeting. The guest speaker will be Matt Davis, the curator for the old Governor's Mansion and their other historic properties, but that will be offsite at the.
Cameron, is we notified the club here that we're not gonna be here for a meal next week?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we were going through that right now.
All right.
So awesome, thank you, Greg. But yeah, so we'll meet up there. It's that new building right off of the highway on the left side where you go into the Andalusia Farm, if all of you are familiar. And the address is on the Rotary calendar, so you can check for it there also. Okay, so today we have a special program. Yes, sir.
Who would be in charge to get the microphone? Oh, we can be here.
Okay,
I'm kind of standing away from it. I get a little shy about being right here in front of things.
yeah, so we have the ability to get, I don't know if you guys have seen, but we have the. On days like this, when we're sharing the space with another event, there's like a portable microphone system. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We've used it a couple times. And days that we have the whole room, we have a system that goes to the whole room. So I can be more proactive. When I talked with Madison about it, she was like, yeah, we can make sure you guys have it every weekend, every week that you do. So I will be a little more proactive in making sure we have it. And you guys need to be proactive in telling whoever's up there, we can't hear you, use the microphone.
Okay. Thanks, Eric. All right, so today you can tell by the slide that we're going to be doing something patriotic and talking about our beautiful, glorious American flag. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank everyone that's service related with our country. Could we ask you to stand up, please, so we can all thank you and recognize you for your service? Thank y'all so much. But ahead of next week's Flag Day observance, we wanted to invite someone to speak on behalf of proper respect and etiquette of the American flag, because there are a lot of things that we don't know. And so I'd like to welcome to come speak now, Colonel Steve Pitt with GMC.
Thank you. Well, I'll be happy to come next week, based on lunch. That was really well. Whenever you have good lunch and invite me, and I'll be able to talk on any topic here. So I'm the Commandant of Cadets at Georgia Military College. Colonel Nelson Kraft is my boss there on campus. I've been back at GMC for about 7 years now. I do have history with GMC when I kind of go into a little bit about the flag. I was also stationed here in about 1997 to 2000 when I was a captain, and I was an ROTC instructor here at GMC as well. Don't claim to be an expert on the flag, but I do have a little passion for the flag, and I think a lot of it's just from serving, seeing individuals as sacrifice, my upbringing, doing pledge allegiance in the classroom, standing at attention when the national anthem was played. But I think a lot of it, why I do know a little bit about the flag, is when I was stationed here in 1997. And I always flew a flag over my desk. And so the JRTC instructor, I think his name was Colonel Allen. Maybe some of you knew him or not. Well, he comes in my office and he's like, I see you like to fly the flag over your desk. Yeah, I was like, yes, sir, absolutely. I fly that flag everywhere I go. He said, well, Friday, you're gonna give me a 15-minute briefing on what you're doing wrong, and then you're gonna tell me what you need to do right. And so I was flying the flag wrong at my desk. And what that did is I became passionate about it, to an extent that if it's flying wrong in a establishment, I'll go tell them. And it's always, I think what I find individuals that are flying the flag, they're not doing it, they're not flying it purposely backwards. They just don't know. So I always lead in and say, hey, I really appreciate you flying the flag. I was a service member. A lot of people have sacrificed for our nation, but you're flying it wrong. And you knew it to do it this way. And I'll keep going back and keep hassling them until they change it. I'm gonna get shot one day. So if you fly it wrong and you get a little note in your mailbox, it's probably from me. Because I have been known to write notes and go back to someone's house and put it in their mailbox and say the same thing. Appreciate you flying the flag, but you're flying it wrong. So there's a lot of stuff in the flags. Where's the arrow? We got it. Oh my God. Which way? All right, I'm also not technically.
It's okay.
Page down.
Oh, no, it didn't. Oh. My apologies. That's on me. Let's go to this.
What was it you were flying wrong around this?
When I show you the orientation,
Okay.
the orientation of the flag,
There we go.
and then we'll go from there. So as we go into it, some of the things that I talk about, if you hear me see the word or you see the word union, this is the union right here. And then you got the red and white stripes there associated with the flag. And then as I go into the display, I'll show you what I was doing wrong. But there's a lot of history of our flag. And as you go back, there's a lot of different flags. And I think a lot of them that you'll find is associated when we admitted new members of the state. So in 1775, basically that was the flag that was flown over our ships in New England. So conceivably, that was one of the first flags we flew as a nation here in 1775.
Oh,
Oh, no problem.
you want that?
Yep, that's fine. And then in 1776, of course, you got the Betsy Ross flag. Now, as I've gone through and did a little bit of research, some question, was she really the first person to do the first flag? Don't know that answer because I didn't live back there in that time frame.
I'm just trying to get.
Here, let me just have that piece of paper, because then it's just kind of gotten.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. So depending on where you go there, Sir Google there can take you all over the place. So you try to find reputable organizations there. So then we established the 13 stripes, the colors, the white stars and a blue field. And then here, at least, is where they kind of said what they stand for, the colors. I always thought red was for the blood, the sacrifice of individuals that have served in combat there. So I think you can find, and some may not say strength. They may say something other than strength. But what I've found in my research is the Continental Congress never really tied the colors of the flag to those right there that you see. What they tied it to is the US emblem. And then it was adapted over to the flag, the meanings there, what the colors mean. When they established the US seal, they applied meaning to the US seal, but nowhere could I find where it's literally applied to the US flag. It just kind of carried over to the US flag there. Then I think that about 1818 to the 90s, as new states were entered into the Union, so changed the flag. So we went through a period, and then in 1960 was where we adapted the 50 stars with the admission of the state of Hawaii into the Union there. And then you had your first flag in the 1800s flown on a postage stamp, which is interesting when we go through, and I tell you a little bit about it, really what's in the flag code, linked to a postage stamp. So that's a little trivia question there when you see it. I think a lot of it is of late, as we go into the code a little bit, Supreme Court has had the deal. We've had a lot of debates about the Pledge of Allegiance, In God We Trust, flag flying, flag desecrations out there. So I think we've gone through a period of time of legal battles over the flag, its meaning, the Pledge of Allegiance, national anthem, our motto, In God We Trust. It's been a lot of challenges. And as you go through it, there's really not any thing that you can do for violating, because we always say First Amendment right. It's a First Amendment right, and the Supreme Court has ruled a lot in the First Amendment right. So as I share with some of these things, I can't really go to a police office and say, hey, Pitt's not flying his flag correctly, go arrest him. They just really have no jurisdiction to go do that. And so that's why I always just kind of approach an individual and say, hey, take a look at how you flying the flag going forward. And then the one picture right here is kind of we went forward. Daggone, I'm talking about another thing. How do I go back? There we go. Got it. Is this on a timer that we go? Okay. Well, I'm sorry. And I know why people are looking at me. I'm talking and going over stuff. Somebody got to say, hey, look, idiot, you're on the slide. Here's the proposed 51 stars there if another state gets brought into the Union. And this is just a picture of the first flags on a postage stamp back in the 1800s. So real simple, US code. So here are the titles that the codes that govern the US flag. And just Google it. I thought it was going to be like a 20-page document. It's not. It's really a short document. As you read it and go through it, it'll tell you everything that you need to know about the flag. And I got on a Betsy Ross website, and I'll tell you more than you need to know about the flag going forward. But it's good to read it and understand, because even though I consider myself semi-knowledgeable on the flag, I've also learned, just in preparing for this, there's some things that are wrong, in my thought, that I didn't know, that I didn't realize, on the ways, that you have to do anything. So really the codes right here, Title 18 talks about desecration, Title 4 talks about the flag, really the do's and don'ts, with the flags. And then you get down here, patriotic customs and observances. Now, one thing to note, Commander in Chief has the ability to stroke of the pen and word of the mouth to change any of it, at any time. So through a proclamation, through an executive order, and it didn't say president, it said Commander in Chief of the Armed Forces. Of course, that is the president, but I think it's linking his authority as Commander in Chief or her authority down the road as the Commander in Chief of our armed forces with that authority to make changes in the customs courtesies and when we display the flag, how we display the flag. And I think you've seen a lot of proclamations come out, the president lowering us down to half mast for various tragedies in our nation. But the president and Commander in Chief really has a lot of authorities in what he or she can do with respect to the flag. So it's funny, as you go into the first code, the very first section right here talks about 13 horizontal stripes, alternate red and white, union, 48 stars. That's what's in the code. But then section 2 says, hey, we're gonna add a star whenever we have a new state come into union. So it's a little weird how they did section 1 linked to straight up 48 stars. And then in section 2, they immediately said, hey, but as a new state comes in, we're gonna add it to the flag going forward. Customary, which I really didn't know the customary, but really custom is you fly your flag only from sunrise to sunset. That's the custom. But you are authorized to fly 24 hours a day with proper illumination. So anybody that's flying a flag in the evening and the hours are dark, that does not have the flag illuminated, should not be flying the flag. It needs to be properly illuminated, fly in the evening hours. But those are the customs. A lot of it is one here, a big one, nothing higher. Nothing, the flag should never be on the right. Everything should be on the left of the flag of the highest honor. But which is unique. And I actually learned this when I was a captain, and I was very proud of myself when I learned that. Is there an exception where something can fly higher than the flag? Not again. Okay, you're right.
The Olympics with medals?
I'm thinking when you're in a foreign country, you're not hosting, but you're being hosted by a foreign country. In that circumstance, that they can fly, they go to the
Okay. I would say now in a host nation, in theory, no, never when our flag is always, we feel our flag is always superior to other, but if I'm in Japan or I'm in Germany, I'm not gonna be able to go to the chancellor. Go to somebody and say, hey, Chancellor, you're flying the flag wrong, you need to put the American on the right side. So it has to do with the Navy, it has to do with the religious services. So a religious pennant can fly higher than the US flag when a Navy chaplain is giving a religious service at sea. That is the only time that something can be flown higher than the US flag going forward. And then a lot of it just goes into the really the displays and how you have the flag displayed. So like, for example, here again, if you always think, if you ever see us in the military walking, and it doesn't bother me, but even though I'm retired, my subordinates will will shoot over to my left. I'm talking, carrying a conversation, and boom, they go right off to the left. So even in the military for a rank, like if we're walking with General Caldwell, we're to his left. Even though we're retired, we still honor his rank as a 3-star general, as an individual, that we will all try to bebop to get to the left of him as we walk with him. Same with the flag. So as you have the crosses here, again, the subordinate flag is off to the left, and then the US flag, the staff goes forward. This one is pretty complicated, and I didn't go in great depth. But I always like when I go into Lowe's, I'll look at Lowe's and say, they're flying that flag wrong, and then I got to reorient myself and try to say, okay. And I always try to look at it as how you're trying to display the flag. So if I'm trying to display the flag this way, how should it fly? If I'm trying to display the flag this way, how should it fly? But what I didn't know is really in streets, it has to do with the Union north on a, I'm gonna move this so you all can see. So in a street, it goes east-west, the Union is to the north. And a street, it goes to the east and a north-south running street. I never realized that. And then when you get in, it was like, if malls have 2 entrances and it's displayed this way, it goes to the east. If they have multiple entrances and it's displayed, it goes to the west. So like, for example, what we're saying is the Union, this is the Union. So if you're in a road and they got a flag and the flag flying there in the middle of the road, the best way is if you see kind of like one of those 9/11 commercials and they'll have a fire truck and then they got the flag. Well, it's on either east-west, north-south running street. So the Union has to be, if the street runs east to west, the Union faces the north. So the blue has to face the north. And if you're in a street that runs north-south, the Union has to face the east. So instead of going, and I didn't really think through my head, it went right. Again, I would always say, was that displayed right? Well, no, it's actually cardinal directions on various streets. And it's cardinal directions when it's associated with buildings that have multiple entrances. But go into Lowe's, okay, because Lowe's, I think, has a few flags flying. And when you go in and you look at some flag, you're going to say, that's wrong. And so think about this, think how it's displayed and how it goes forward. And I'm glad I didn't go challenge Lowe's because I could have been wrong there and going forward. This is one that I never knew. A flag flying upside down. You can't fly a flag upside down. But it's when you're in extreme distress, it's a signal of extreme distress or loss of life, major loss of property. So that's when you would fly a flag upside down as a signal that you've got some problems going. And this will be another one that we'll get into. Flags never to be carried flat or horizontal, but always aloft and free. I mean, flat is carried like this. I did not know that, and you'll see when we go through. Here's a good one for all you churchgoers like me. Well, I've battled some clergy. Christ is my savior, but his flag does not go to the left of the US flag on that. And I've been in churches where they've got the flags flying wrong, and I'll go up and I'll ask the preacher before I move his flags or her flags. I'll say, hey, you're flying them wrong. Can I move them? And for the most part, they've always said, yes, you can. And so I always got permission there. On a casket, it's another thing on a casket is as the casket is laid out in the head of the individual, the Union is on the left shoulder of the individual lying in the casket. And you can kind of see in this picture here, so all the heads are here with the Union on the left shoulder of the individuals. Now, uniforms, one of the things I learned that, as I read, and I discovered this a little while back, patches. So it only really talks about patches affixed to uniform of military, firemen, policemen. How many of you have seen the Braves with patches on their uniforms? Or a sports team with patches on their uniforms? Okay, based on the flag code, technically that's not right. They're not authorized to wear a patch. Now, can someone tell me what's wrong with this flag here? If there is anything, or what's unique about that flag? Okay, and I know why. Absolutely. Didn't hear, we don't retreat, we move forward. So if you're carrying the colors, the Union will be on that side. It's like, if I was running into battle with this flag here, I would be running into battle that way. Not running into battle that way. So that's why in the military, you see us with flags on our sleeves. We always have the Union facing forward because that's technically the direction we want to go. Anybody have any questions on any of these up
I
here?
have a question about that half staff for residential flag folks, because I have residential flag. For when the government transitions to half staff, is that applicable for residential flag?
Yeah, it does. If you have a staff, yes, and you have the ability to raise it up and down, yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's that. But here's a good point, and I will credit General Caldwell for this because he sent this note. What I didn't realize on the Memorial Day, and we fly our flag at half staff on Memorial Day until noon. Okay. We do parades here, and I wrote the scripts, and in every script I write, we're gonna fly the flag until 12 o'clock, and then we're gonna raise it high. I didn't know it was part of the flag code, it was just in the script, which we do, and then this Memorial Day, the president sent out, hey, again, take a look at this. And really, I also saw a proclamation, that came down, I don't remember if it was the governor or the president, that said flag to noon. So now I drive around on Memorial Day and I think I was in Milledgeville and I stopped at a fire department because it was afternoon and the flag was still at half mast. And I was like, hey, you can't fly that flag at half mast. But not many people know. I really didn't realize that. So Memorial Day, you fly your flag at half staff and then you raise it. And I don't know if I have it in here or not. But technically, here's, anybody know how to raise and put a flag at half staff and how to take it down? All the way up, all the way back. Yeah. Okay, so both times. So if I'm gonna put a flag at half staff, I raise the flag up all the way. And then I bring it down to half mast. In the evening, before I take it down, I raise it up and then I bring it down. So I don't from half mast bring it down. And likewise, when you raise the flag, you're supposed to do it briskly. It's not a ceremony. Get that flag up there, and then when you lower it ceremoniously as you're lowering the flag there. But you get it up and you bring it down, and you take it back up, and you bring it down. Now this one here, mostly, I think one of the things I would tell you is treat the flag with dignity and respect. That's it. That's what you got to do. And so some flags may have harsh chemicals. Burning is the preferred method. And usually the time to do it is on Flag Day, is when you burn your flags. But if you can't burn it, treat the flag with dignity and respect. And there's been times when I've discarded a flag. Sorry. Couldn't burn it. But I folded it and wrapped it up. And then I disposed of it. So, sorry. But I think as long as you treat it that way, you're fine. Going forward. And it's a living thing. And that's how you got to treat it. That's why they make me talk. Oh, bug me for crying. So,
What we call love country.
yeah, Pledge allegiance, national anthem, kind of protocol. I normally stand at attention. And if I'm outside and I'm in a ceremony in a place, I'll do the salute. It does talk about, pledge allegiance, saluting. But I've never seen that, in the salute, going forward. And it didn't really just say whether it's indoor, outdoor, whether you do that. For me, as a military person, I just stand at attention unless the ceremony dictates that I would salute in a ceremony. And I really don't think that's anything's wrong with that. I'm not being disrespectful to the flag. If a senior officer talks to me, I stand at attention. And so it's the same thing I do with the flag. One of the things I did learn, really with the headdress, like if I take it off, which I didn't know, you're supposed to take your cover off with the right, and then you're supposed to hold it like that. If you're doing that, if you're taking your cover, so if you got a baseball cap out there, and they always say, ladies and gentlemen, remove your cap. Well, technically, you're supposed to take that cap. I usually just put it in my hands because I usually stand at attention, so I'll hold it in my hand. But in theory, if you put in your hand in your heart, you're supposed to take the hat, the cover, and have it on your left shoulder, and then with your hand over your heart. I didn't really realize that, and that's something I learned there as I went and prepared. Kind of basically the same facing music, so I don't know how you're going to face it if the music's coming from the ceiling. But again, I think as long as you're treating the flag with dignity and respect, you'll be fine in what you're doing. It's all to honor the flag. So some of these flags, and this will get into the question here. This is what I was doing wrong right here. So I had that flag over my desk, and again, the Union should have been on the left here. So I needed to flip-flop it there as I was displaying it over my desk. Therefore, the Union should have been in the upper left. And that's what I did wrong. And that's usually what I see most wrong when I see a flag flown in a building or in an area of business. Here with this one here, the flag should not be flown with a Chick-fil-A flag underneath it. It should no business or flag of that sort should be ever flown on the same staff. How many have seen flag bathing suits, both male and female? It shouldn't not authorized to do that. Here you have two nations flags, so if it's on a staff, each nation's flag should be separate and not flown on a single staff going forward. This one here, how many have seen patriotic stuff on? This is a golf club here, and kind of the rationale was flag should never touch the ground, and that flag should never touch the dirt. So in theory, you've got something here that has it shouldn't be on there, but you have something on the US flag that's gonna hit the dirt going forward. And you can't really see here, nobody should ever sign a flag, and this literally has like names of individuals. I think it's 9/11, I think they had all the individuals written on this flag for 9/11. And although I think the intent was valid in what they were doing based off the flag code, they're not authorized to do that going forward. So those titles are pretty neat. I think you ought to, if you should, just Google them because they're not long. They probably take you 10 minutes. And there's other things in there that I didn't share with you. But that'll tell you everything you need to know about a flag. All right, we're gonna play a little trivia here, okay? Some of them I think I already gave you the answer. I'll give you the exact answer. Can you hand me that piece of paper? Yep. All right, so first one, right there, raise your hand if you know the answer. Are there penalties for violating the flag code? Yes, ma'am. No, why you not?
Like you said, the police can arrest someone if they're flying improperly over jurisdiction.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there was originally 10. I think in the past people have been, but I think as we've now pressed the First Amendment, the US Supreme Court has ruled a lot on the First Amendment there, and although the flag code, it's in violation of the flag code, we really don't have any legal authority of that. So you get a coin. All right, congratulations. All right. So how you give a coin, so these are challenge coins. So how you're supposed to present a coin is through a handshake. So that's how you present a challenge coin. You didn't earn it. All right. Is it appropriate to fly a flag that has fewer than 50 stars? Okay, you raise your hand. No, it is not. No, it is not. Wrong answer, but I'll give you one anyway. You are okay to fly any flag that has been approved as the official flag of the United States. So at some point, this was approved as the official flag of the United States. So therefore, you can fly that like you've seen the 76 flag. So just kind of understand what the flags over that have been approved, and you can fly it as long as it has been an official flag in the United States. So here's one that I didn't know, which whoever's going to get is going to get the right answer. Is display the flag horizontally as before a football game a violation? Yes, ma'am. No. You think so?
Because you said it can't be, it can't be level to the.
Okay, you earn your coin. But, you know, technically in theory, you cannot do that. It's in violation because the specific, it should be flying aloft and freely, not flat or horizontal, in theory. So don't watch any national championship games or any sporting events ever again. I'm going to boycott them. So here's a good one. Is that legal or not legal? Is the American flag stamp a violation of the flag rules? Yes, ma'am.
I would say it is a violation and the union should be on the right side.
Okay, well, the union is displayed correctly, because if you think about it, okay. So as you're facing the flag, the union is always on the left as you were displaying it. So if you put it on a stamp here, you're displaying it out towards an individual looking at it. So therefore, the union should be on the left of the stamp. So it's not wrong, but it also has to be, it also, it's flag. It has to do more with, really respecting discredit. That's gonna be thrown in the trash. That's gonna get stamped over. So in theory, that is not technically authorized by the flag code to have a flag on a stamp, even though back in the 1800s, we had the first stamp with a flag on it. So you get a coin. Yeah. Uh-oh. You got to restart. Wait an hour. I can do it, I think. So, kind of questions. I think the flag code is a set of guidelines. It's a set of principles that we are and how we treat the flag. I think the big thing and the lesson learned in it is it's a living entity. And treat it with dignity and respect. And if you're wrong, as like a young lady today, as they were doing the national anthem, she saluted inside. Hey, you know what? Damn right, proud of you. That's it. What questions you
I have a question, I fly a flagpole and fly flag, and whenever the flag is ready to be decommissioned, I do burn it, because I know that's the proper way. I don't know how I'm gonna do that after seeing your briefing here today. Because it does, for me, it gets mushy too, when it comes to the end of the life of the flag, because you don't, that's the last thing you wanna do is dispose of them. What does the code say, if anything, about repairs?
So, yeah, you can, so it does talk, if you have a flag that is torn or ripped, you can repair it. It says, it does kind of say. Professionally, if you can do it, if you can do it professionally, yes, you can repair it. I think it's just how the flag looks, and if it gets to the point where it's not really, dignified to fly it, then it's time. If it's frayed and torn, then I wouldn't do it. But if it's kind of got a rip in it, and you fix the rip in it, I think it'd be fine. If you did it professionally. And I would say just in how you do it, maybe even, you're religious, say a prayer, and then dispose of it in the proper way that you see fitting. And as long as you see what you're doing is giving honor to the flag, I don't really care how you do it. And I don't think most Americans don't care how you do it, as long as if you take pride.
To what point, as far as fade?
You know, I didn't find anything. You could probably search it, but I didn't really see anything in preparing this. It said, okay, this warrants a flag. It's your own opinion. I think as you look at a flag and it's no more brilliant and doesn't give the message that I want to send out to those that observe the flag, then it's time to replace the flag. Yes, ma'am.
You talk about the proper illumination, does that also apply when it's inside, like in your office at night?
Oh, wow. Contract says no, so I'm going with my boss. Wow, that was a great question. That was something jump right there. Yes, sir.
You talk about business flags not being appropriate to fly under the American flag. What about alma mater like the UGA flag? A lot of beach houses.
You got
Yeah. I think it was more commercial, like for advertising in some of the research preparing, it did talk more in line of a commercial organization and advertisement and a role of that. But I didn't find anything that said, I wouldn't stop if you had UGA flying. If you got Alabama, then I'm gonna desecrate your Alabama. I'm gonna treat the American flag with respect. What else? Yes, ma'am.
I have one more question. So, the flag did not tread on me. Do you have any comments about that? I'm not as familiar with it, so I don't know.
I didn't find anywhere so let's rephrase that. So there was one flag, if you go in there, and it was like the second flag that was flown by naval vessels in New England, and I think it was 1776. It was red and white. It had I don't remember what it was, but it did have the logo "Don't Tread on Me" on that flag specifically. It did have that flag. I'd say if it's the American flag with the "Don't Tread on Me," I wouldn't on that. I don't know. I have a "Don't Tread Me" flag that I haven't ever put up. I will put it up in my final thing, but I don't know if I put it on, but I never found anything that said anything contrary. Yeah.
The reason for the flag and where it's
Right,
placed
yeah.
in relation to the US flag.
Well, it never should be, if you're facing the flag, it should never be to the left of the flag. Nothing should be ever to the left of the flag. everything is subordinate to the flag, to its flag. This one.
So residentially, you are not flying the flag, is there a proper way to store it, or is not just to the residents?
Yeah, what we do is if we take a flag at the end, whenever we take down a flag, we fold it. There's 13 folds in the flag, so we fold it properly. And then we store it somewhere. I mean, it probably in a bookshelf. I didn't find what says it needs to be in a glass case or anything like that. But we do when we fold the flag. Unless we got to pick up, move up. Then you'll do the kind of the quick mother may I, real quick, put it in a backpack and go. But then you always, when you retire, do the 13 folds and fold it to where it will look like a colonial hat. And then we'll store the flag that way. Yes, sir.
On a uniform, as in police or fire department, which sleeve should it be on?
Right. And I did not, I don't see in there their flag with the union facing forward. I normally see in the police officer, the flag. I've only ever seen the military with the union flying forward. Their flag, the union would be on the back end. Is what I have seen. But they should have it forward? No. I've only seen. Yeah. Did I confuse you?
No.
Well, let me go, so. So in a military uniform, we wear it over our right shoulder, but the union flies forward as going into combat. So on a policeman's uniform, the union, it's just they wear the flag, but the union is back. I've not seen police officers, fire departments. And I haven't found it in there, but I've not seen them with their union facing forward.
It does go on the right.
Yes, sir. Right shoulder. May I answer your question? Yes, sir.
Our fire department's wrong.
Which one is it? If it's number 7, I live right there. I'll go there. Yeah, I don't, I've never, that's a good point. What Colonel Rash said. I don't know. I would research that some more before I said definitively yes or no, because I'm kind of speaking out on my 4-point contact. And if you're airborne, you know what the 4-point contact there. So I don't, nowhere did I find in writing that said that, so. Yeah, on that, but I haven't, again, for me, it'd be a set of guidelines, the fact that they're wearing the flag. I found where it says right here, the uniform, military, firearm, policeman, patriotic organization. Fly it how you want to fly, as long as you treat it with dignity and respect. What I would say. All right, well, that was, thank you.
We have a program called Jill's Books, and what we do is we have you sign this book and it's put into the library here.
Okay.
And we have some nice pens, take your pick.
All right.
And you can keep the pen. These are made by Greg.
Awesome.
And Fred has a quick announcement.
Yeah, hey, last Monday, we did
I think-
Baldwin High School meal giveaway. It was very
Okay, as long as
successful.
it feels good with it.
I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Aaron,
It's not gonna be happening. I'm okay with that.
Joy, and Greg for coming out. We actually handed out 15,000 meals.
Oh, wow. All right.
This one company is the second edition. I have 4 people signed up. Just want to give you a reminder, Miss Horton, Jen, myself and Laura. I think there's one other person that. All right, so it'll be the 3 of us and we'll hit it hard just like we did this past Monday to get these club hours and service hours. That's all.
Same time, Fred.
Yes, sir. Same time.
Christopher, Luke, and Lily, thank you for visiting. You're welcome back anytime. With that, we're. Don't forget to leave your ballot.